This content is not suitable for persons under 13 years of age. Welcome back, Bots and Bits fans. How's everyone's quarantine going? Mine isn't doing too bad. Things are winding down here in South Australia, so it's time to do another episode of For this episode, it's going to be the NewAge H9T Agamemnon. It's Megatron. The clear version, or the ghost variant, if that's what you prefer. With that all said, let's just get straight into Agamemnon. Alright, there he is out of the box, and doesn't this design just look fantastic? Before we go ahead, I would just apologise for my gross-ass, dry-looking hands. All the sanitizing is just, it's really done a number on my skin, and my hands are actually quite sore. Anyway, more to the point, the design looks fantastic. Let's just, at first, get rid of this f***ing... Much better. Oops, come here. Much better. Now, this guy costs about $50 US, and he's about 11 centimeters tall, which means he looks like this in front of these lot. The X9 Prime, McFans Toys Megatron, Hasbro Bombshell, Hot Soldiers Soundcloud. Alright then, let's clear this lot up, and take a quick look at what accessories come with him. So accessory-wise, it's your usual Megatron fare. We get a gold Blitzwing gun, just sculpted really well, and the gold is done really nice. I'm not seeing any faults or flaws or anything, even in these tiny little gaps. The gold is very evenly done. It doesn't really fit in his hand very well at all. That's as far in as I can get it. We also get a silver key to Vector Sigma, which fits in his hand nice and snug. We also get this little clear adapter, which is to plug in weapon effects, which don't come with it. It comes with something else. I don't know what it comes with, but you can get it. And it's to add on to the end of the barrel in gun mode. We also get a replacement face, which is clearly straight from MP36, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a great sculpt. This is done really well. The sculpt is nice and sharp, as you can see. The paint is done fantastic. That is some beautiful paint. Those eyes are so reflective. And to swap the faces over, we're just going to grab it by the chin and pop it off. He also comes with his favourite sex toy. I'm so sick of this, I've never ever left one of these on my Megatron. But it is done alright, there aren't any sprue marks. I'm only seeing the one mould line, which isn't a mould line so much as it is a join, where they've added this piece to that piece. It's done well. It's done well. And you attach it by simply just unplugging the hand and then plugging that in. So it's got all this extra left over. Maybe it just goes on this hand. Ah, yeah, okay. Goes on that hand. We also get a couple of replacement hands, which again are done really well. I'm not seeing sprue marks, probably because I haven't cut it off the sprue yet, but I'm not seeing any issues whatsoever. Nice and clear, and those hands just peg straight in like that, nice and snugly. And then the last accessories we get are a kind of translucent gun barrel and the stock, which, you know, all converts into that weapons platform stand thing that, no, I'm not really too fond of that, but it does it. So when it comes to Megatron himself, he just looks fan-tastic. The clear plastic quality looks great. There's no stress marks. I'm not seeing any sprue marks whatsoever on this guy. He is just so tidy. I'm really, really impressed. Now, Tiny Megs here has a ton going on when it comes to articulation, paint, and detail. More than you'd expect from something so small. The clear plastic really lends itself well here to something this complex, because it gives off like an internal mechanical look when you can see inside of him. Except, though, when you come down to, say, like the forearm here, I am getting a little bit of scuffing on the inside of the plastic from this slider going up and down during transformation. That's something to be aware of, I guess. But apart from that, the rest of the details seem fantastic. Got a small amount of little computer detail here with some paint that's done really neatly and has some slight transparency to it. It's not overdone. Looks great. The rest of the details are nice and crisp. No more paint on the upper body, I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. Just up here in the obliques, that's just a solid chunk of red paint. Further down onto the legs, we have some smoky plastic here with some very, very even gunmetal silver there. That looks fantastic on the back as well. And then a little bit on the front toe. It's all done really, really well. The finish on this guy is just incredible. And you'd want it to be for the price, my God. But it doesn't really stop there. When it comes to the joints, he is highly articulated with a super stiff 360, and then you've got the out as well, which isn't really hindered by much. We have the upper bicep swivel, which is super stiff, and a 90-degree bend on the elbow. And the other side is the same, although this bit is just that it's scarily tight. I'd almost want to actually go in there and loosen that screw if I was going to mess around with this much. Forward and back in the ab crunch, and the twist, which is, if his torso straight, it's sort of encumbered a little bit by the backpack, but you can just lift it up and move it around to get a further twist. Oh, and the fists, because they're push and plug, they are twistable. Side flaps come out like that, and you can see we've got ball socket hips, which can do that, and they're pretty stiff. Because it's a ball socket, we do get the upper twist, but then we also get a bend here. Because the ball socket doesn't really go forward or back much, you bend there like that, but then there's really not much back. Bend in the knee is fantastic, nice and stiff as well. And then down to the feet, we've got a pretty decent rock, but no forward or back. That sucks a little bit. Because he's so articulated, and even with that limited back, you still can get him in some pretty dynamic poses, which would really benefit from a forward and back. You could have him in a walking or a running or something. Instead, you've got to sort of balance him on his toes. I mean, his feet are pretty flat all the way along. If you try and get him a little too dynamic, I do find that this guy falls over backwards. So anyway, that's pretty much him in a nutshell. Not much more to say about any of this. So let's get him transformed up and take a look at gun mode. Fucking finally.
Uh-oh, seems like a system error. Error.
So look, there he is in gun mode, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with that engineering. Going from looking just like Megatron into this, that is some plastic wizardry right there. Look, it's not perfect. The proportions aren't perfect, those sorts of things. But like, it's legend scale, so obviously we're going to make some allowances and those sorts of things. Overall, they've done a pretty fantastic job. The clear plastic looks really good. During the transformation, I didn't feel like this was going to break. I didn't feel like I was putting any undue stress. I will just say that this clear plastic, it's really stiff and the joints are really tight. So some of these tabs, like especially this one here, that was a real pain in the ass to get in because the tab hole was really tight, but this hinge here is a little bit loose. So trying to tab it in, it just kept going like up, down, up, down. It wouldn't go in. Yeah, overall, he's pretty damn good. About the size of a kid's water pistol you would get in a crappy party bag. But yeah, the trigger moves. It's not spring-loaded or anything, so you do have to sort of get your hand in there just to reposition it. But yeah, pretty impressed. Looks pretty good. Let's chuck some crap on it and go to final thoughts. There you go, gun mode complete. Let's just quickly, there he is with Mech Fans Toys, DX9, and hang on, get rid of that. And I have the NewAge regular Megatron. There, stand up. Stand up. Go on, you can do it. There we go. So, there you go. Looks great. Alright, final thoughts. So final thoughts wise, is it worth it and should you buy it? I don't know. It's a bit expensive. That's really my only criticism. I couldn't really find much else to complain about with this guy. $50 US might not be too bad for you guys, but for us here in Australia, it goes from $80 Australian all the way up to $110 Australian. It is very expensive here for what it is. But it is well built, the plastic quality seems great, the paint is all done amazingly. Yeah, I can't see a reason why you wouldn't buy this. It is thoroughly impressive. And that's it. Now, if you enjoyed this video and like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe to my channel. Remember to check out my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also the private Facebook group and my fantastic website, botsandbits.net, for all your bots and bitty news. And as always, guys, thank you very much for your time and thanks for watching.